everybody, what's going on? Welcome to the latest podcast for FPF Football, First and Goal. I'm your host, Quaysie Gordon Maule, and unfortunately, Brent's not going to be with us right now. He will probably join us later on, but hopefully, right now he's in Jamaica, hopefully on a beach drinking a nice red stripe for the ones that know. But yeah, we have a lot of interesting things to talk about today. Division F, E, B, C, A, kind of that backwards there. Also co-ed 1, 2, and 3, 5v5. A lot of things going on. Playoffs are basically about to start too, so I'm going to get into detail for a lot of teams that are kind of on the hook for playoffs, or teams that already clinched and kind of already have everything kind of going. We're also going to have two guests on that are pretty much the big bosses FPF, so a lot of you guys are going to know them, but I don't want to ruin the surprise before that I announce them. But when you see them, you're gonna know who it is. And yeah, so we're gonna start with Division F, actually. And for Division F, so we have a five-way tie for first place, and it's kind of weird the fact that there's five teams that are tied for Division F. And most situations, like sometimes you have maybe like three or four, and then there's like the tiebreaker. But we have literally five teams that are in first place. So in this situation, it helps that your defense is good because it goes how the tiebreak works. It works on points allowed. So the team that has the least amount of points allowed pretty much gets the first seed. So right now, as the teams that we have, there's only 10 teams in. So we have First Down, Snifflers, Jamaican Bobsled Team, Gamblers, Dolphins, and PSTM. So these are the five teams that are tied for first place. But unfortunately, because First Down Snifflers have the best points against, they get the number one seed, and PSTM has the worst points allowed, so they end up being in fifth. Which is also kind of crazy is that Dolphins and PSTM are in the fourth and the fifth seed, and pretty much there's no buys in this division. So it goes 1 versus 8, 2 versus 7, 3 versus 6, 4 versus 5. So we're gonna have a number 4 seed, number 5 seed that are technically, if they allowed a least amount of points, they could have finished first. So Dolphins that finished the 4th seed and PSTM that finished the 5th seed are actually going to play versus each other in the first round. So it's kind of crazy that you ended your season 7-3. You technically finished in a 5-game tiebreak, and you play versus a number 1 seed in the first round. So I found that kind of hilarious to kind of see that, because you do not see that at all. Usually as a 4th, 5th seed, you kind of maybe have two teams that are kind of in the mid of the pack. So you have like 5-5 or 4-6, and they kind of just meet each other. But now we have two teams that are pretty much like they dominate the whole season there, and they're going to have to play versus each other in the first round. So I guess that's what that's what benefits you when you have a good defense, because you don't have to get yourself into situations like that. And these two teams played against each other in the regular season, where PSTM won 26-20. So we get a little rematch there. Then we also have two teams at the bottom of the list. We have Vengeance and you have Underachievers. These are two teams where Vengeance 1-8 and Overachievers are 2-7. They're the last team to play against each other in the regular season, and the winner of that game actually is going to get the winner of that game is going to get the 8th seed spot. Right now, Overachievers have it as the 8th seed, but if Vengeance can beat them, they're actually going to bump them out, because it's going to be game against as the tiebreak, and they end up having that 8th seed. So that game's going to be pretty big to see who's going to end up playing First Down Snifflers in the first round of playoffs. I'm going to move forward to Division E. So Division E. So Division E is by far probably one of the biggest Division E is probably the biggest group that we have. There's 27 teams in this division, and for most of you guys that play in this league and that kind of can know about it, 27 teams is a lot of teams. You don't have to play a team twice. You literally probably don't even see half of these teams at the complexes or in general. So it's a pretty cool how there's this many teams. And out of the 27 teams, 20 teams make it. everything's pretty much locked in. Everyone's kind of locked and loaded regarding the playoff spots. How playoffs work for this division, I believe they don't have any buys here. I don't. Oh yeah, sorry. 1 to 2 teams. 1 to 12 actually get buys. So actually, teams do get buys. But other than that, while it becomes ranking, everyone's kind of set in their place. The only team that kind of could screw up the seedings is Pack a Punch. Pack a Punch is going to play Emperor's Retreat. Emperor Retreats are 3-6 with 225 points, 4 and 2, 241 against. Pack a Punch is 2-7 with 189, 4 and 256 against. So these are the only two teams that kind of could screw themselves over because the points allowed. If Pack a Punch could beat Emperor's Retreat by more than 16 points, so if they could beat them by more than 16 points, they will eliminate Emperor Retreat, knock them out of the 18 seed that they're currently in right now, bring them down to, I believe they'll probably hit the 21 seed, which is the cutoff to make playoffs, and Pack a Punch will sneak in there as a 20th seed and try to make a playoff push. So that's pretty interesting when it comes to that. Other than that, everyone else is kind of lock and loaded. We also have Gold Rush that I believe they forfeited the rest of their playoff season because a lot of their guys can't make it. So I'm not sure if they're gonna end up taking a 21 seed and kind of put them in there, kind of to give it like an air team their chance. I'm not exactly sure how it works. It doesn't happen often enough where teams kind of forfeit playoffs before it starts. So they have the regular season, they want to play the season, and they're like, oh well, we don't want to make playoffs, but we still want to have a season, right? Because everyone enjoys playing, and then you forfeit your playoffs. So I'm not sure if they're gonna take an error team just to kind of fill in that spot or kind of bump everyone one spot up. But it'd be kind of cool if they do that. But again, I'm not sure. So that's it for Division E. We're going to go down to Division. We'll go down to Division D now too. So we'll get that out the way. For Division D, so Division D, yeah. So we have Division D is also really big too. We have 26 teams. I'm not going to go into detail with when it comes to all playoffs and stuff. I do want to give a shout out to Snowden Degens. They finished the season 10-0, so they end up getting a perfect season. It's always nice to have when you actually have a perfect season. You're going to playoffs with momentum. No one has beaten the whole season, and it kind of shows that you guys are the real deal. So I just want to give a shout out to them. Great season so far. I also want to show a segment that we're kind of working on a bit, and it's called Trade Cut Franchise. So pretty much you have three of the top teams I usually take, or three teams in between debate regarding who the top three teams. For me, I think the three best teams that I've kind of watched and kind of saw are Snowden Delhi Dgens that finished 10-0, sorry. Rick and Marty that finished 9-1, and also I want to give it to Uncle Rico's Riders. So Uncle Rico Riders is also a veteran team. They've been together for a while, and I want to give them right now. They're locked in as the 4th seed, but they're pretty much a top. I think they're pretty much a top 3. The team that's higher them is Practice Squad 3, and they both basically have the same record. They're 7-1-1, 7-1-1. They both have one game left. They scored way more points. That's why I want to give them the benefit of the doubt. They scored 307 points in the season so far with one game left, and they've gotten 192 points against. So I figured they're more of an offensive power. So I kind of want to give them the benefit to be in the top 3. So pretty much how it's going to work is I'm going to tell, in my opinion, I'm going to say who I want to trade, what I want to cut, and who I want to franchise. For the people that don't understand the concept, that don't understand what I'm talking about, is that, so basically I'm saying I'm going to trade a team, saying I'm going to trade this team away because their value is good, and right now they're at the top of the peak, so I could get a good value for them. If I want to cut you, is because I think you're kind of like false kings. Out of the 3 teams, I don't think you're kind of that good compared to the 3. So I kind of want to cut you away. And then if I want to franchise you, I want to keep you guys going because I feel like you're a team that's able to get better going forward. So the team that I want to franchise is going to be the team I want to franchise is going to be Snowden Delhi Degens. So these guys are kind of similar, new into the league. They have a few guys that are going to be studs. You have Jeremy Steinberg, that's an amazing rusher and also a receiver. Sam, I can't pronounce her name as probably, but Anastas Paulus. He's the type of player that he started back in division. I would say division like the lowest division. So I would say F and then Division 6A, 6B. He's becoming one of the stud receiver. You could see by his stats right now. He's 79.6 offense and 80.6 defense. And he started at 55 or something, or 60 60. And right now he's almost he's basically in the 80s. He's basically one of the top guys in the 80s mark right now. So there's also him and their quarterback, Adam Maloff. He's probably going to be a real big problem when it comes to all divisions. His stats this year, he has 56 touchdowns for 6 INTs. He's taken 7 sacks, 1,859 yards passing, and 64.3% completion rate. So right now he's going to be probably one of the he's if he continues doing what he's doing and moving up division, he's probably going to be one of the better quarterbacks that we're going to see in FPF. So I kind of want to give them the team that I want to franchise, because I feel like if they could keep this core together, they're going to be a big problem going into Division D and then going into the move to Division C. The fact that they went Division D, they went 10-0. I'm pretty sure if they are able to go into Division C, are going to Division, I would say it's ABC. So Division C next year, or Division maybe 4, and then kind of fall into Division 3 slowly as you bring your core together with these guys that they have. So I want to give the franchise to them. The team that I'm going to cut is going to be the team I was going to cut is I'm going to cut Uncle Rico's Riders, and the only reason why I'm going to cut that team is because they're more of a veteran team, but I don't think they're going to get any better. I think their guys are going to right now. It's a team that the fact that they're in Division D, they're more of a Division C team. A lot sometimes I feel like they've been in Division C when I'm pretty sure I've played a type of roster like this. Um, I don't think they're getting any better, and I don't think they're going to get any worse. I think they're going to stick to this division. Again, they're 7-1-1, so it's kind of good for them. But compared to Rick and Marty, I think Rick and Marty is a bit better than them. And moving forward, I think Rick and Marty is able to actually make that jump if they could bring all their guys together, because they just have a bit more playmakers on that team. So I'm gonna have to cut Uncle Rico's Riders, and then for Rick and Marty, I'm gonna trade them. The reason why I would trade Rick and Marty is because it's a veteran team. They're very well based. Noah Grauber is actually disgusting in this division. Right now, his stats are he has 52 catches, 675 receiving yards, and 25 touchdowns. I don't know if people kind of realize 25 touchdowns. He's averaging about 2.3 touchdowns a game, which is that's a lot of touchdowns to get. Most people get maybe like 10 touchdowns a season, 15 if you're lucky. He has 25. So the fact that he's doing that in this division, I don't think he should be even playing this division, but whatever the system works, it's how it is. But right now, I would trade them just for him as well, just for the value you probably get on a player like that as Division D. So by trading, I mean like you're trading this team in a Division D kind of concept type of thing. So it's like you get a huge value on this team, especially a player like Noah. And they have as the quarterback too, you have Marty Freeman, he's also a vet too. His stats this year: 44 touchdowns, 180 yards, 1,800 yards, and 8 INT. So he doesn't make that many mistakes. He's 66.7% completion rate too. So I just think there's going to be a lot of value on a player like this. Uh, yeah. So we have our first guest. It's going to be Ben, 11-time All-Star, one-time championship, and our commissioner. So Ben, how are you?
I'm good, man. Can you hear me perfectly?
Yeah, I can hear you good.
Perfect. I'm good,
I
man.
can
How are
hear you
you?
good. I'm good. I'm good. So for the ones that don't know Ben, Ben is our new commissioner for FPF. So if ever you guys have any questions, or most times you guys do have questions, or you guys are sending emails, he's the one that's pretty much answering it. But
Ooh,
for
that's
Ben, I
actually
kind
not
of
true. That's actually not true. So if anybody gets mad at an email response, it's actually not true. So, Quaysie, don't
okay.
throw me under the bus.
Okay, so sorry. Okay, so who answers all the emails?
Well, it's a team. The
Okay.
team does have to remain anonymous though, because a lot of people do see these people at the field. So I don't want there to be any issues ever. So I think it's best that the team remains anonymous.
Okay, smart, smart. Okay. You don't want anyone to get yelled at.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think I think our refs get enough yelled at that point. So I'm bringing Ben is not as our commissioner. I want to bring Ben more as a player and to see kind of how he started with FPF and stuff like that. So I'm just gonna ask some questions, and you guys are gonna be able to kind of see Ben for Ben, the player, not the commissioner. Okay, so Ben, so I just want to know, how did you get into flag football, and did you play tackle before that?
So I did play tackle first. I started at 5 or 6, wherever you start, city ball, Titan
Okay.
football, which is it's actually flag football, but in full pads, so blocking and everything like that is allowed. However, instead of tackling, it's a flag like FPF is,
Yeah.
right? Then I played until I was 13, and then I stopped playing, and then ended up getting back into flag when I was 17, thanks to my snapper and cousin, who's on my Vultures team, Kevin Dunnet, who got me into it because he found out through some work friends at the time. Um, and then ever since then, it's been like multiple teams a season for as long as it's been.
Okay. So pretty much Kevin is Kevin the one that got you to join FBF?
Exactly, yeah, Kevin.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So shout out to Kevin. When you were playing tackle, because right now, as many people as you know, you play pretty much every position. You could play quarterback, snapper. You could play defense as a rusher. You're kind of all around athlete. But right now, I feel like you're more of as a quarterback. But did you play quarterback while you were in tackle?
I had, I think, 2 drives at a quarterback ever, and that was in Pee Wee football. Our first and second string quarterback got hurt out of the game, so I went in. I think I went like 0 for 4 and 2 pick sixes.
Okay, so it
Yeah,
didn't it didn't go that well.
no, no, and then I didn't throw a ball again in a competitive game until FPF.
And why quarterback? Like in all positions.
Uh, Well, because I always wanted to play at the highest level. Like obviously, I started. I think it was Division 6D when I started as quarterback, and I wanted to get to the highest level. Um, oh, you know, hold on. Let me back up a bit. When I started, I think it was Division 5 with my cousin Kevin, with him and his boys, um,
Mhm.
and I wanted to get to the highest level. And I knew that I had like a leg injury that I knew would hold me back and kind of is always lingering. So I knew that if I wanted to get to the highest level, I would have to play a different position other than receiver. And also, I'm not very tall, so that's like a big factor as well. So I knew that if I wanted to get to the highest level possible, I'd probably have to be either like a quarterback or a rusher. But even as a rusher, like the height is a big thing as well, and you get to the higher divisions because the quarterbacks are tend to be less mobile, and they're getting the ball off quick, right? So height is
Yeah.
really important as a rusher. So I was like, okay, well, it's got to be quarterback. So that's how I switched to quarterback, because I was like, I want to play at the highest level eventually. I don't care, what it takes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember your team name for your first season in FBF?
As quarterback or as just in the team?
As you have quarterback stats here.
I have
So
quarterback stats there. Oh, okay,
yeah,
okay. You know what?
so
Because you know what happened actually was they had got my name wrong. I think the first season. So then that profile had gotten deleted, and this is like the current one now.
okay.
So I'm not sure what this one says. I'm not sure if it's ETC or maybe hurricane season,
No, it's
but I
ETC.
think it is ETC.
Yeah, ETC.
Okay. So my first season I think was either with hurricane season or top season. That was Andel Thomas's team. I'm not sure if you know Andel. He's hasn't been around recently, but he was like
And
multiple
and
teams a year.
Andell's actually my cousin.
Okay, no kidding. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
So Andel was he was part of Kevin's crew. So when I got in, I got to play with him and his boys. And I think
okay.
it was either hurricane season or top season. I'm not sure which one it was.
Yeah. So
I
okay.
think we
So what I
went
have
like
here, is I have ETC back in spring 2017, and then I have winter 2018 where you threw for the Vultures, and that would be Division 6B, where you guys went 7-3 that year.
okay, yeah. So then that was my first like full season throwing because I think I threw
Yeah.
ETC as well, but I don't
Yeah,
think I threw the whole season.
you threw like 3 or 4 games that
Yeah.
on
Okay.
ETC.
Yeah.
And then you went from Hurricane, then comeback season, then
Okay.
Vultures,
Yeah.
then top season Vultures, then yeah.
Okay.
So there you go. Speaking of Vultures, how did you come up with the name Vultures?
I think it was just one of those things because it was so long ago. I'm not exactly sure like the sequence of events, but we had a lot of different random weird names and we would just like take turns coming up with a name that we would be for that season. Um, and this one just kind of stuck. Ambush lately is stuck as well. I will probably be Ambush for a while. Um, in one of the other teams I play with, my boys Phil, Dante, Mateo, all those guys. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and Phil's actually working on the uniforms right now. He's been slacking, so Phil, when you see this, you better be working on our new uniforms. But yeah, it's just one of those things that just stuck, and it's like just it's a simple name. It's like traditional sports names named after like an animal. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, yeah.
one of those
That's cool.
things.
I'm just curious,
Yeah,
because
no, for sure.
one thing I see is like sometimes I see names, I'm like, oh, I wonder how they made that name. Like when I was thinking, like when I made when I made the co-ed one team I had last winter, like I was literally on Google saying flag football team names,
Yeah,
trying to see something that's gonna stick.
yeah,
So I know it's not the easiest thing to do, and sometimes you see the weirdest, randomest names. Sometimes.
yeah. We
Um,
occasionally we have to turn down a few teams that submit names that are just completely inappropriate.
yeah, that's
So
what I would also.
so yeah,
Yeah, I would assume that as well. Okay, so kind of going back to you and how you progress from going as a quarterback from Division 6B, and now you're pretty much a quarterback in Division A, right? So Division 1, Division A, Division 2 type of quarterback. This is your first season that you brought your team to Division A. You guys started pretty high. You guys started 2-0. Now you guys are currently 3-6, and you have a good chance of missing playoffs. What
yeah.
exactly happened this season? Like, what were the feelings going up and down? Because I know it's a big jump, especially as a quarterback when you bring your whole team. Because I know you've subbed and you've played Division A, but to bring your whole team into this division, like how is that going?
Well, I'll be the first to say that like I have been playing as well as I would, as well as I have in the past. Like this is probably one of the worst records I have as a quarterback in a long time. So it's definitely frustrating, but I
Mm-hmm.
do take the blame for that. That's for sure. We did get a lot of injuries though. We did get a lot of injuries. We had guys missing for AJ on our team, who's obviously everybody knows how good AJ is, and
Yeah,
he was representing the country, so I'm not going to fault him for that.
yeah.
Obviously, like he was
He missed a lot of
doing
games. Yeah.
great things in LA. So missing him was huge, both offensively but defensively as well. Like he's just smart in every aspect of the game. So um, now let me see our team picture up right now. There, like even in that team picture, we're missing three guys who were on the team. We had originally we had both Perrys. Obviously, Ryan Perry's in the picture right there. His brother
Mhm.
wasn't able to play due to injury. We were missing Sammy as well, who broke his hand in the first game.
Yeah.
Um,
So yeah, that means yeah.
um, One of my go-to guys, Anthony Drysdale, he's been banged up kind of all season, and he's like one of my go-to targets. So injuries did play a factor, but ultimately, like I should have played better. I
Yeah.
also I will say like the jump, to Division 1, where now all of a sudden it's like the 5v5 rules where midfield is the first down as opposed to the 10-yard first downs.
Yeah, it
That,
changes a
that
lot.
that's a big factor, especially when you play how many seasons as a quarterback when it's 10 yards, your playbook has to adjust a lot.
Yeah, and the talent doesn't get any worse, right? If
No,
it's
no,
getting
no,
better,
exactly,
so
exactly. Yeah,
it makes it way more difficult to get 20 yards or 20 to get
yeah,
to midfield compared to getting
yeah,
10 yards. And you can get away with the incomplete here and there,
yeah,
but when it comes down to when you're third and you have two incompletes, it's like, okay, well, I'm in a situation right
yeah,
now. So I understand that. Um, so again, here's since we're talking about six
yeah.
and sixes and 5v5s, what do you prefer?
So I definitely prefer sixes, but I'd like to get better at fives because that's kind of like, it's kind of the way a lot of things are going with the flag like internationally.
Yeah,
Like I enjoy playing like those tournaments and stuff like the big Tampa Worlds and all those things like that, and that's all the 5v5 formats. So like I'd like to get better at fives, but if you're asking me what I prefer, I definitely prefer sixes.
do you prefer sixes? How the new rule we have, how the new rule is, where it's midway, or do you prefer the 10 yards?
Yes, because in Division A, where the offenses are what the offenses are, it's too easy to score with the 10 yard first down. It was almost like who's gonna get the 1 2 point conversion more than the other team. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
that's kind of what a lot of the games came down to, especially like when the top quarterbacks were going at it, like Maher and Wyeth, and like those games. It was a conversion game basically. It's like, oh, we know
yeah,
they're gonna score, so
yeah. I remember when right now we will because the fact that we have onside kicks and stuff like that too, it does kind of change the game. But when I was playing, well, when I was kind of watching back into 2013, and I was seeing all the high teams play against each other, it was to a point where whoever got the first stop won the game, or whoever got the most converts won the game. Like it wasn't like, and no one really got stopped. So when you did actually get a stop, you pretty much like you sealed the game because there were so many points being scored back and forth. It was like, okay, we got the stop, we're up by 6, we're good after that.
yeah,
And then if you didn't get the stop, it was whoever get the most converts after that, because you would start adding points after your touchdowns.
yeah.
So I completely understand that. If you had to choose one receiver from FPF to be on your to play with, who would it be?
Okay, so I'm gonna exclude everybody from my current team because I'm already playing with those guys.
Yeah. So
But
someone that you never play, never someone that you've never been with, who would put it like
okay,
that, actually like that, because
you
you
cut out
played
a
with a
little
lot of
bit.
you played with a lot of.
Sorry, can you just repeat
Oh,
that?
sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, I can hear you good. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just thought about you played with actually a lot of pretty good receivers. So if you could choose a receiver that you haven't played with on in FPF right now, who would it be?
Okay. Yeesh. I've played with a lot of good guys, man. Like I was thinking, like I was gonna say somebody like Jalen, but I've played a few games with Jalen, so like that would have been one of my first answers for sure. But somebody who I've never thrown a ball to in a game before, um, Rochelot, Francois Rochelot
Okay.
is. I love watching him play. Man, his routes are
Yeah,
ridiculous.
they're
Uh,
crispy.
Yeah, his routes are ridiculous. So he's for sure like this is really on the spot. So I'm sure there's some other names I could come up with, but like on the spot, somebody
I'm
like
gonna say maybe Jeremy Murphy.
sorry.
I thought you were gonna say someone like Jeremy Murphy.
Oh, like that's like see that's one that slipped my mind quickly, but obviously like there's so many good answers, right? He's like you throw the ball just in the area and he's gonna come down with the catch and probably score at the same time. So
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, yeah,
No, 100%. Okay, another question for you. Game on. So, well, I'll base this on your team.
yeah.
Game on the line. You need someone to make a play. Who's getting the ball?
Oh boy. Okay.
So,
So
before you answer this question, there is, yeah, like, okay, he's the best receiver, but it's also who's gonna understand your concept and actually read what you want as well too. Like
yeah,
some people like I'm gonna throw the ball to AJ, he's gonna make a play for me, right? But sometimes I know you and AJ just started playing with each other, so maybe you guys won't be on the same page when
yeah.
it comes to certain points compared to like a receiver like Anthony Drysdale, where you guys have been playing for a while and you kind of know where he's gonna be and he knows where you're gonna be.
So you
On
said
your on your
basically no, you said everything I was going to say. You
on
said
your
everything I was
snapper
going to say.
too.
So
Kevin too is pretty reliable.
I'll repeat it anyways, but yes. So AJ is just he's unreal. So I'm thinking what the defense is thinking. The defense is thinking, let's stop AJ. Let's stop AJ. Okay.
Yeah,
You also brought up the fact that we've had limited games together, which is true. I think we only have played 3 games together. I know he's been there to get some DNPs to qualify for playoffs, but like actually playing where he's receiver and I'm quarterback, I think it's only been 3. And he's been hurt for some of them as well. So like certain play calls were kind of not used, right? So our chemistry is really it's not there yet, and I can't wait to continue building with him because he's amazing. But game on the line, that ball's going to Anthony Drysdale right now,
Okay, that's what
and
you
he's
guys.
catching it.
That's
He's
what
gonna
I.
get
That's
roughed
what.
up on the play because he's not the biggest guy, so he's gonna get pushed. He's gonna end up on the ground, but the ball will be in his hands.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I was actually laughing that when I was kind of writing the question. I'm like, for sure, I think
Oh
he's
yeah,
gonna say Anthony, but you kind of see it too. And when he does play with you, he does get fed a lot. He ends up getting a lot of touchdowns, a lot of stats. So a lot of people kind of don't see him as a top elite receiver. But when you have a quarterback like you, and you guys are kind of on the same page, he does make the plays that he has to make.
yeah, and he's a quiet guy and he doesn't talk shit and anything like that. He's not gonna get into any drama. So like he's overlooked a lot, but that's got to stop soon. I mean the numbers there for him. He's a
Yeah,
beast.
for sure. So I have one last question for you, and it's going to be, who's your NFL team?
Like my favorite team,
Yeah, who's your team? Your
it's the Ravens.
the Ravens,
Yeah.
and why is it the Ravens?
Okay. So I was a Louisville fan because of Teddy Bridgewater. Okay.
Okay.
So I was a Lamar fan when he was at Louisville. So I was like, okay, whatever team like he ends up going to, I'll follow that team, right? And then he's obviously got drafted by the Ravens late in the first round. I think he was the last first round pick, and then he ended up being what he is now. So Ravens guy because I'm a Louisville fan.
So how happy are you that you guys have Derrick Henry now?
I mean, like it's he's our running game was good without him, and now it's just like it's just completely ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like you have to count for everything.
Yeah. Have you seen a Ravens game before?
Yeah, I've seen a few.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you planning on going to see another one with Derrick Henry in that backfield and Lamar Jackson, or?
So my friends and I are going to see a game actually in Carolina. Not a Ravens game. We're going to see a Carolina game in September, which is a
Okay.
Sunday game. And then the I think the Monday night game is the well I don't know. It's the Monday night game is Detroit in Baltimore. So we're going straight from Carolina to Baltimore to probably watch that game. At the very least, though, we're doing like the tailgate and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But pretty sure we're going to get those tickets. We just haven't pulled the trigger yet.
Okay. Have you been tailgating at an NFL game before?
Yeah.
Okay, it's something else.
Yeah.
It's actually something. I know some people would just literally, when you said that, like for the people that don't know, you just go tailgating. If you want something to do on a Sunday morning, because it starts in the morning, these guys are outside at 8 a.m., 7 a.m., and they're there, they're eating, they're playing, they're drinking, everyone's having a great time. If you want something to do and actually not physically watch a game, you literally just show up and
Yeah.
you'll find a bunch of people. You wear the team jersey and you're good to go.
That's it. That's it. You're gonna get food handed to you and all these things like that. It's just it's great.
Yeah, it's fun. All right, Ben. I want to say I appreciate you coming on, and best of luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
All right, guys. So that was Ben. So back to what I was kind of saying with my back to back Division D. What I was saying, cut, franchise, and trade. So that's pretty much it for Division D. Now we're going to go into Division C. So Division C, we have actually teams that receive a first round bye. I believe there's 4 teams that we receive a first round bye. I don't want to say information that's not right, so I'm just going to pull it up here. Yeah, so we have 4 teams that receive a 4 round. We have 4 teams that receive a first round bye. Those teams are going to be Le Petit Cahat, LeBron Torage, Speed Academy, and Super Daddies. So those are the 4 teams that are going to receive the bye, and then we have number 5 versus 12. So uh, besides the team that are already in the top and they kind of clinched it, we actually have a really weird situation towards the commission and Big Fat Bats. So the commission actually had a huge game where they end up playing Super Daddies, and they won that game. So they basically saved their playoff hopes, getting a huge win against Super Daddies, and it brought them into a 4-5 record. The other team that also didn't win that week, but they won the week before that, is Big Fat Bats, where they are also 4-5. Right now, there's 12 teams that make playoffs. Commission is in the 12th seed right now, but Big Fat Bats are right behind them in the 13th seed. They both share the same record, 4-5, 4-5. Big Fat Bats are points allowed is way higher than Commission. So the Commission somehow has to win their last game to kind of either seal their playoff spot, because they also are tied with three other teams: Bandits, the Hustlers, and All Blacks. But these guys have points less points allowed, so they can't really jump them unless they win their game, because then they'll be 5-5 and they'll be able to jump those teams. Compared to Big Fat Bats, they also have to win a game, and if they both could win both their games, they will knock out All Blacks and the Hustlers. Those two teams will be eliminated from playoffs. So the only issue regarding the situation is that both of these teams have really hard matchups. So the commission is going to be playing LeBron Tourage, which is a pretty much LeBron Tourage, which is pretty much a solid team. These guys are a bunch of players from ConU. Other ex-players are currently players. Right now, they all season long they've been playing pretty good. I think they have one. I think they have one game that they lost on a forfeit because of a roster violation where they kind of screwed up with a player that didn't have a release. But other than that, this team should be 8-1. So they're 7-2, but they should be 8-1. They have pretty much the best defense. They allowed 193 points against, so they're pretty much a solid team to it's going to be they're a solid team to actually play against. So the commission is going to really have to pull a lot of things out their hats if they're going to want to win this game. But fortunately for them, Big Fat Bats is playing Speed Academy. Speed Academy again. Speed Academy is in the third seed, with which they are 7-2. They could actually get a jump up if they do win this game as a second seed. So for them, the game actually does matter. And Big Fat Bats need to win this game to actually make playoffs. So if the commission loses and Big Fat Bats loses, the commission stays in the 12th seed. So pretty much both of these teams both of these teams hold their fate. If they both could win, they can knock out All Blacks and they can knock out All Blacks and Hustlers. If one of them wins, so let's say if Big Fat Bats win and commission loses, they'll knock out the commission. And if the commission win and Big Fat Bat loses, all that's going to do is that commission's going to just jump up and they'll finish as a 9 seed compared to 12 seed. So very interesting on these last two games that we're going to see going down the line. We also have Jagger Bomb versus Traptors, but I believe they forfeit the rest of their season. So that's going to give Jagger Bomb a 6-4 record. That's going to jump them to a 5th seed. But the two games that we're kind of looking at is Big Fat Bats and the commission, to see who's going to be in the playoffs and who's going to knock out a team regarding that's in the spot in the playoffs right now. So that's going to be very interesting to kind of see that. So we're going to go into division. Oh, perfect. Actually, Brent's here.
So I heard you talking Division C. Obviously, you're talking about my team, the commission. Yeah, we have a big game tonight.
That's exactly it. Your perfect timing. I can kind of actually talk to you about the game that you guys are actually going to have to play, right? So you guys are playing
LeBron Tourage.
Yeah, exactly. You guys are playing them in Laval on Thursday. So you guys played tonight.
Tonight. Oh, sorry. Yeah, tonight. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys played tonight, 8 p.m. What's the what's the recipe disaster to win this game?
I can hear you guys. Can you guys hear me?
So Brent, okay, yeah, I can hear you, Brent. So what I was asking you, I want to know what is the recipe that you guys have to do to win this game against
Yeah, I guess a couple of things. First off, Cassetti, they're the quarterback. He's a dual threat, so we got to make sure that even when he runs to get some yards, obviously, but he also runs to buy time for his receivers. So we got to take that away. I think that's first and foremost. We also got to make sure, we got to take away their deep ball. I know he has a lot of plays where he just runs around and waits for his guys to get open deep. We got to take that away, because if we don't take that away, they're gonna kill us. The guys like Ahmed Bubakar and that. I've seen him play a couple of times. I pay attention to the stats doing this. Like, they like to throw the ball deep, so we got to take away the deep ball and make them one-dimensional on offense.
Okay, and then for you guys, what do you guys do? What do you guys do for your offense to put some points on the board?
I mean, I wasn't there on Monday against Sugar Daddies, but like, we moved the ball. We only had one turnover, which is good. Like, we just can't beat ourselves, especially on offense. So we got to make sure we move the ball, get everybody involved. Don't take too many risks when they're not there. The deep ball will open itself up, but we got to like kind of march towards that and just be smart. Like, we play smart team football. We're a lot better than what our record says, but at the same time, we are what our record says, right? But I find, again, playing with this team, a lot of new pieces, like I've been saying for most of the season, this got to really get just eliminate the mistakes on both sides of the ball, and I think we'll be all right. LeBron Trust is a great team, and all respect to them. Right now, they're in second place, but they're beatable. I've seen them play a couple of times, and they're definitely beatable. Just, we got to take care of our business.
How confident? Okay, let's just say if you guys don't take care of business, do you think Big Fat Bats are going to be able to beat Speed Academy and technically knock you guys out of playoff?
Yeah, I mean, I played both teams. I mean, Big Fat Bats, it was a shootout. They got the best of us. Our defense was hot garbage that day, which is one of the reasons why they beat us. I forget what the final score was. I think it was like 50-44 or something like that. We just couldn't get any stops, and they gave us opportunities to get stops. We just couldn't capitalize. Speed Academy was the opposite, where they gave us chances to make stops. We made some of them. Speed Academy is the better team. No disrespect to Big Fat Bats. It is what it is. You just look at the records. I think if we don't pull it off against LeBron Trash, obviously we're in a tough spot, as you were saying even before I came on, right? We would then need Speed Academy to beat Big Fat Bass. Am I confident of that happening? Yeah, Charles Verreau is great. Felix Derry Bernard, a great two-way player. Obviously, he plays receiver in this division. I think they have the better skilled players, does Speed Academy. It's just a matter of execution. Like, when they played against us, they didn't execute, which is why we beat them. Hopefully, no matter what happens with us, they could execute well against Big Fat Bats.
Yeah. I actually think you guys are fine. You guys just don't. You guys basically need Big Fat Bats to lose because you guys beat them in the tie break for points against. So you just need a loss from Big Fat Bats or a win on your side. And if you guys both win, then you guys knock out All Blacks and us.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it is. Like, I don't want to back into the playoffs. I'd rather get the W and, we're on our way. I'd rather have that than to lose and have to rely on somebody else. But yeah, you are right. I mean, I think we're going to be okay. But again, take care of our business. It doesn't matter what happens later in the week with Big Fat Bats and Speed Academy.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Well, that's pretty much all I wanted to ask you, because I was very curious to see, because I know you missed the last game. I kind of saw your team actually play. They played very well. And they actually got that win. And then I was looking at the standings, and I was like, I thought you guys were good. And I'm like, oh no, they're not in yet. But they made themselves so much better. In fact, if you guys lost that game, you guys would have went 3-6, and then it would have been a must-win game going into this Thursday.
Yeah.
So
but that's it. I mean, listen, I thought we'd be better too, but unfortunately, it's not the case right now. But I mean, it is what it is. Listen, you sign up for 10 games. The playoffs are like that added bonus. We're trying to get that added bonus right now, and again, handling our business tonight. The boys handling their business tonight is going to be big towards getting that.
Mm-hmm. For sure. All right, Ben. All right, Brent. I just wanted to say appreciate you stopping by. Best of luck to your commission team tonight, and enjoy the rest of your vacation.
I mean, I'm not. This is not a brag at all, because I'm not that type of dude. But I mean, it's Jamaica. It's pretty dope. The resort's awesome. I did not pick the resort. My girlfriend did, but I mean, the resort's awesome, and the people are pretty cool. And yeah, I mean, the weather's beautiful. It's like 30 degrees, 35, but it's like you get that ocean breeze, you get that nice breeze in general. It's not like Montreal 35. It's pretty dope down here. It's my second time here. I love it. And I think when I retire, I might end up living here. Good stuff.
I don't see I do not see why not. All right, Brent.
Gentlemen, have a good rest of the
Thanks, man.
rest of the podcast. You need me to stay on for Jeff or no?
No, I'm good.
Okay. All right. Heading back to the bar. Pina coladas are waiting. Rum and Coke. See you guys later. Have a good one.
All right. Thanks, Brent. Thanks for coming on the show. Enjoy your rest of your vacation, and we'll see each other soon. Now, guys, we have our president owner, Jeff Rosenblatt, that's joining us right now. Jeff, how are you?
Doing well. How you doing?
I'm good. So I basically had you on today to kind of I want you to kind of talk about what's going to be happening on in the fall season, kind of let everyone know exactly what's going to be going on, and I'm going to be asking you just questions to like kind of say what field is going to be going on and stuff like that.
Sounds good, man. Let me know what you got.
So we're gonna start with the fall season that we have. Do we have any type of new fields, or it's gonna be of the same basic fields that we usually have?
Two usual fields. One thing we're trying, while we're still going to be outdoors in September, is Hébert at Stade Hébert. The dome doesn't go up until December, but we're going to be playing on that field outdoors for the month of September. So we have, usually we have Marivic, Brossard, Concordia, Hébert outdoors. We're going to have a few fields at the new Chateauguay because they redid the turf. So there's now 2 fields there instead of 3 fields, but it's brand new turf and is apparently going to be gorgeous and way improved. So that's going to be starting, I believe, first week of October. And then we have Papineau and Saint Laurent. So all the usual spots, days and times to be confirmed very shortly.
Okay, nice. So that's good to know. And when exactly is the new season start? When's it supposed to start?
Yeah, I have to check. I know finals are August 23rd, 24th for spring. I think we start. It's either September 2nd or 3rd or 4th. It's one of those days. I think it's on the website, but I have to check. It's one of those 3 days, either September 2, 3, or 4.
Okay, that's cool. So that's pretty much it for the information that I want to kind of ask you regarding that. This is also something on the side. How do you feel about 5v5 for co-ed? 5v5 co-ed.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I like it. I've had a bunch of people ask me, like, when are we going to be doing 5v5 co-ed? So I think we're going to keep sort of gauging interest and see how many people want to do it. But I think for sure for the winter, it's going to be offered. We may start with just one division because I don't know how many people sort of are interested. So we may start with one division. But if we see there's a lot of interest, we may even do 2. But it looks like likely there'll be one 5v5 co-ed division in the winter.
Okay, that's cool. Because kind of the main reason why is because right now you play 6v6 co-ed, right? So is that something that you'd be interested in also partaking in, or are you going to be kind of more of a 6-on-6 type of?
I would be definitely down to try it. I like to try everything that we offer. So depends. Are you going to play with me or what?
Yeah, for sure. We have to get you a championship somehow, right?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so if you decide to roll with me in 5v5 co-ed, we're going to put in a team in the winter.
Sounds great. So talking about kind of divisions, right? So I'm actually on Division B right now, and the talk is actually about running once. You guys started the season 0-2. You guys bounced back strong. You guys won your last 6 of your 7 last games, and now you guys finished with an impressive season 7-3. Before the season kind of started, I kind of was looking at your team, and I figured you guys would be the team to beat. And after I saw a 0-2 start, I was kind of wondering what's happening here. But you guys kind of end up getting everything together, and you guys finished a 7-3 start. Why do you think you guys started so slow compared to how you guys ended?
Yeah, I think, it was the first time for a lot of us playing together. Jalen, Bakari, Boubacar, we had never really played together. So I think, Felix, the connection at the beginning It wasn't quite there. It took us a little while to get going. But it's like what you said. After the first two games, it really started to gel. I think we have the best defense in the division, and as long as the offense can just keep us in there, the defense going to get a stop and gives us a good chance to win. So I think it was just a little bit of lack of chemistry at the beginning, and then we've really started to pick it up, and I think we're feeling good about our chances going into the playoffs.
Nice. So how I see it, you play on Division A with Jameson's, I believe it is. Division B with Run It Once. Raw Dogs is 5v5 competitive, and Lego My Flag or Flag My Lego with me currently for Co-Ed 1. Out of these four teams, what do you think is the biggest chance of you winning a championship? Which team is the biggest chance?
Probably Raw Dogs, because Jordan is going to be throwing. I'm just there in case he gets hurt. So maybe that. No, honestly, I feel like I think every season every one of our teams has a good chance. I feel like we've had a few roster issues with Jameson's and Raw Dogs this season. We have so many people on the roster, so we didn't qualify that many guys. But I think if things come together, I think our co-ed, our squad, I think we have a really good chance there. The Division B team is looking good, and anything can happen in Div A and competitive. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed that one of those teams, at least one of those teams, are going to come through, and we're going to be able to put a championship on the mantle.
For sure. I have two more questions for you. One, because you're kind of close with the team Silent Ticklers, right? You have a couple guys that are actually on your Division A team. Right now, they sit they're in the 7th spot at 4-4. They're probably going to end up being 5-5 technically, so they'll probably finish as a 6th seed. How scary is a Silent Tickler team in a 6th seed compared to
to me? Yeah, to me, the Ticklers are always a scary team. I think Jordan Panetta is, for sure a top 10 quarterback in this league. I even think he's a top 5 quarterback. He's tremendous. Play calling, big arm, smart IQ. And then with his top 2 guys, obviously Adam Rose and Dan Mancini, they've been together for a long time. They have a great connection. Everyone knows they like to go deep, but they still get it done. So offensively, they're a massive threat. Defensively, sometimes is where maybe they struggle a little bit, but the Ticklers in the 6th spot is a very dangerous team. Whoever's playing them has to for sure watch out. They're to me, they're one of the top teams in Div B and always one of the favorites to win a ship.
Yeah, for sure. The team. So right now, there's also 2 teams under you. You have Mongoose, and Fins Up. Who would you rather play if you guys do make it to the finals? Who would you rather play in the finals, Mongoose or Fins Up?
It's a really tough question. The Mongoose guys, Nick Schaefer and Tomakutu leading the way there. Experienced guys. They've been there before. They've won some championships, so that's a dangerous squad. But that Fins Up team with, I think is it Will Power throwing? I think he's another dangerous guy. These are guys that I think have some chemistry. They've been together. So who would I rather face? I guess neither is the answer. But if you're putting me on the spot, God, I don't even know how to answer that. I guess I'll lean towards playing against Fin. I'd rather play Fins Up. Let me lean that way. Just because I think Mongoose knows me better than the Fins Up guys. Okay. So just because they've seen me less, maybe we could do a little bit more things that they haven't seen before. Whereas Schaefer and then Couture and the boys, they've been around, they've seen it. So, but either way, both of those teams would be tough outs.
For sure. Sorry, I actually have two more questions. One regarding Fins Up. How underrated is Willpower compared to a player in FPF right now?
It's like, to me, Willpower is obviously the 3-way threats, quarterback, receiver, and defensive. I think he's a very high IQ guy. I think he's been around. I know from MFL and now here. I think he has a lot of flag experience. now specifically as a quarterback, I think draws up, very creative plays, knows how to move the ball, knows how to get it done. So to me, super underrated guy. And I think, with the right squad, has the potential definitely to be a Div 1, Div A quarterback. So I think he's a guy in the coming years, be on the lookout because he's making his way up the ranks in FPF for sure.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying. A lot of people, when you kind of look at him, he doesn't look like he's much, but he will drop 50 on your defense, and you guys are completely confused. So the last question I actually have for you is that so we have a poll. We had a poll on our Instagram, and it was if FPF should host a mid-season tournament. And the poll was only up for one day, but we had 172 votes that said yes and 50 votes that said no. So there's a lot of hype to see if FPF is going to host the kind of a tournament that's organized. And how, do you think that's something that can be possible?
I mean, it's definitely possible. I think the season to do it would be the spring, so that we could get some outdoor field and run a pretty cool tournament, because it's tough with field availability to do it like in the winter when we need to be indoors. So I think it's definitely a possibility. The only issue would be, I know a lot of people travel and this and that, so we would have to give enough notice so we could get teams to register. Maybe something like in June or July. Have a weekend where we do an FPF tournament, offer a bunch of divisions. I think it could be a very cool idea. So I'm going to talk with Ben, and we'll see if that's something maybe we can organize for 2026.
That's perfect. So you guys heard it first. We might actually have a little FPF tournament that's going to go on, and I think it's actually going to be pretty big, right? Because how just the fact right now how big flag football is in Montreal. So I think there's going to be enough interest, and I think we could probably pull a lot of teams outside of Montreal as well to come to this tournament.
Yeah.
All right, Jeff.
I think so too.
I wanted to say thanks for joining. Thanks for joining me today, and and have a nice night.
My pleasure, guys. We'll see you in the playoffs.
Yes, sir.
All right, buddy.
Bye. Thanks, Jeff. All right, guys. So that was Jeff Rosenblatt. That is our president of Flag Plus Football. So again, we talked about a Division B there with him. The only thing that we didn't talk about is the last seeding for Division B. We have never overtime in the 8th seed, and then in the 9th seed we have Les Verges Folies with their 2-7. So the Verges Folies is right under never overtime at 2-7. They basically wait, do they have the tie? Wait, sorry. I'm not sure if they have the tie break on overtime. I don't think they do. No, they don't. So no overtime has a tie break on them. So they need to win their last game of the season to make playoffs. If they don't win their last game of the season, where they're going to be playing, I believe they play Mangoose, which is, again, that's going to be a hard opponent to play against them. They actually played this Thursday at 8 p.m. So we're going to find out. Well, you guys will probably, by the time you guys hear this, you guys will see the results. But they're going to have to win that game to get into playoffs. Hopefully, Guillaume Bellin is there, because they're definitely going to need him. He missed a couple games. They also have a Francis Crochelot that came in as well. So they could get Guillaume Bellin and Francis Crochelot to both come. Those are two double threats that should be able to help them and hopefully get them that win where they would knock out never overtime. And if they don't, then again, better luck next season while not making playoffs. But we're gonna find out. Soon to see the results for that. But other than that, for the playoff breakdown, there's no bye, so it's 1 versus 8, 2 versus 7, straight down, and we're gonna see exactly how this playoff matchup is gonna end up being. So that's for Division B. We're gonna go to Division A. So Division A is pretty much also kind of figured out. We have the Braves that are 9-0. They're actually going for their perfect season. They just played Infantry that they won 44-40. So that was a pretty good game for them. They're able to get that win and hold on to their perfect season at 9-0. They have one game left. They actually play for their last game. They play Jamesons. So they actually played Jeff that was just on the call. They played Jamesons. We technically a big game because we have four teams that are 4-5, and there's two teams that do get a bye for Division A. So a lot of these games do matter. The biggest talk though is actually vultures and party crashers. So we had Ben on the call. We didn't really get to talk to him about much regarding playoffs because it's not really it's kind of in his hands regarding the seedings, but he kind of needs party crashers that are 3-5. He needs them to win. They need them to lose their last two games, and vultures need to win their last game. So vultures play infantry. Infantry is a team that I play for, so that's also good. That's gonna be a big matchup. But if vultures could beat infantry, they'll jump up party crashers, and then party crashers have to win their last two games where they play one stop and they play Idaho U the Pimps. So one thing to talk about Division A is that we have the Braves that are 9-0. You have one stop 4-5, Idaho 4-5, Jameson's 4-5, Infantry 4-5, Party Crashers 3-5, and Vultures 3-6. You have literally six teams that are right behind each other, where one game kind of could have changed a lot. So this is also a season again where you don't see a lot of teams that are so close to each other. Regarding when it comes to playoffs, you're going to get a 1-2 bye. Sorry, regarding playoffs, you get a one seed and two seed get a bye, and then you're going to get a 3 versus 6 and a 4 versus 5, which is kind of funny because most likely the 4 and the 5 are going to be two teams with the same record, and the 3 and the 6 is also going to be kind of maybe similar. So that's going to be very interesting when it comes to that. Again, we're going to have to wait to see how the games plan out. Party Crashers play one stop on August 2nd. So that's going to be on Sunday. And then they play, on Saturday, August 2nd, and they play Idaho on August 3rd. So those are the two games left for the Party Crashers. And then Vultures play on August 3rd. Most of the games are going to be on the 3rd, and most games are going to be on the 2nd. So pretty much we're almost done. The season's almost done regarding a lot of teams. I believe the last games for everyone's season to end is August 3rd, and then playoffs are going to start. So it's going to be a very interesting playoffs for Division A. We have a lot of good teams. We also have some new teams again, right? So we have Idaho and we have Vultures. Two teams are kind of brand new in this division, and they're also we have one stop too. So sorry, we have three teams. Two teams that are doing pretty well for themselves as one stop, and Idaho and Vultures are just one game behind, right? They're 3-6, and these are three teams that are new to this division. So just want to give a shout to them to kind of making that big step. The biggest issue a lot of teams is kind of making that step, trying to get into other division, and they kind of did it, and they're just going to get better from here. So that's it for Division A. That's it for Division A. I'm going to go to we're going to go to Co-Ed 3 and kind of just talk about that for a second. So for Co-Ed 3, we have 12 teams that are gonna be making playoffs. Pretty much almost everything is kind of solid regarding the teams. We do have a pretty good. We do have a lot of good matchups. Talking about the top seeds, though, to start with, you have Ghosted and Le Pizzit TB. Um, um, they're both 9-1, so they end up being tied. They end up being tied as the 1 and 2 seed, but the top four teams do get a bye for these games. So it's going to go to these two teams, Yard Chasers and Kiss My A's. They should actually no. Kiss My A's actually are in, and Yard Chasers are just below Mixology. So Mixology is going to have to win their last game of the season to see if they get a bye, and they're playing Route Runners. So that's a talk for the top four teams to get a bye. The teams that are actually kind of looking out right now are Flamingos, Mixed Signals, Les Poulettes. Those are the three teams that are still contenders to make playoffs. They're going to actually have to win their remaining of their games to kind of get in and try to knock out Showdown. Wolfpack and Tight Ends are the two teams that are kind of at the hook right now. So Flamingos and Mixed Singles, and mixed signals are going to be the two teams that are going to have to try to win out here. Their last two games where they play this Thursday actually at 7 p.m. and they play on Sunday, August 3rd. So those are two good big games for them to kind of get themselves into playoffs. And then you have Flamingos that are 2-5-2, so they actually have two ties, which actually helps them regarding for points. And the last game they're going to play against is No Limit. So if they could win that game, it gets them one step to get into playoffs. So I'm gonna go Division Two now. Division Two is a bit more. Yeah, so Division Two, it's actually the one division where all the teams are done. All the teams are everyone's played their 10 games. Everyone makes playoffs as well. So for the playoff breakdown, the top four teams do make top four teams do get buys, and we already have that already locked in. You have Hibu, Guard, the Shark Attack, and anything. So those are the four teams that are making playoffs. To recap, I got to watch Shark Attack play anything. Last they played they played on Sunday, so Sunday just passed. Shark Attack won 34-33, where quarterback Jean Slee ended up actually getting a game-winning touchdown pass on the last drive where they ended up scoring and pretty much clutching the win. But that was a pretty much good game. I wouldn't be surprised if this teams end up I wouldn't be surprised if this teams either see each other in the quarterfinals or even finals. These are two teams where they both have a lot of firepower. Both defenses are pretty good, and they kind of have what it takes to win a championship. Anything is coming off from Division Three championship, so they're kind of getting a bit of hang of it. Last season they went 9-1. This season they went 6-4. So they made the big jump to go into Division Two, Coed Two, and they finished their season 6-4. And they lost one of the games they lost in the last play. So they easily could have been 7-3 and finished one of the top three teams as a four-way tie break. But unfortunately, they finished 6-4. But they're still one of the top teams that are there. So that's good for them. I also got to watch Purple Blood play. This was also on Sunday. Les Gardes de Tuca. They played there where you had the quarterback Sanders. Um, that was also a good game to watch. Purple Blood ended up losing 43-37. But again, these are two teams that could make they can make a playoff push. Right now, Purple Blood's in the 8 seed, and other team is in the 2 seed. So it just goes to show that Purple Blood finished in 5-5. The other team finished 7-3. Where I think it was one bad drive that Sanders did, where if he ends up taking that back, and I think it was a turnover. They could get that possession back. I think they probably win that game. So it just goes to show. I think Purple Blood's a team that people are. Purple Blood's a team that teams are going to have to be careful about because it's a team that they did finish in the 8 seed. They are going to play regarding the playoffs. They're going to play 5, 12, 6, 11, 7, 10. They're going to play. I believe they're going to play the Zoomies. So that's going to be a hard matchup for them. But again, they're a team that people should be watching out for because they could make a big playoff push and get back into the finals. I believe they went into finals last winter. I believe it was they went to the finals and they ended up losing. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm like 90% sure that Purple Blood went into the finals last winter that just passed. So, and this was in tier two, so like Coed two. So I think they can make an air appearance there. Now we're gonna go to Coed one. Coed one is also pretty much done. The last two games we have is the Merge versus Plenty of Fish. Those are the last two teams. Again, everyone makes playoffs for Coed one. Um, Everyone makes playoffs for Coed one. The Merge and Chat GTT and Chat GTD, yeah. Those are two teams that are going to receive a first round bye going into it. We already have the who's going to be playing who. You have Lego My Flag playing No Pads No Helmets, and then you have the IG team playing Plenty of Fish. Talking about the IG team, they actually ended up their last two games on a high note. They beat No Pads No Helmets Just Balls 39-12, and then they handle business against Lego My Flag 31-14. So they're going into this playoffs hot. They're going ready. They're going to end up playing. Um, they're going to end up playing Plenty of Fish no matter what the results come down to with the merge and Plenty of Fish. That end up they're going to have their last game this season on Friday, August 1st in the Val. So it doesn't matter the results there. They're already locked in playing those two teams, and then you have Lego My Flag playing no pads, no helmet. So again, the first two teams do receive a first round bye. So you have the Mers and Chat GTD. They're going to receive a first round bye. Those two teams, and they're going to play against the winning of the teams of the next 14. They're going to play the winning teams that are in the first round of the playoffs. So that's it for co-ed 1. I'm going to go to women's C. I want to give a shout out to Humble. Um, they actually, so I think they scored in their touchdown. So Humble's actually a thing that's kind of funny. I was actually looking at it, and the first 7 games that they had, so they actually had a forfeit. They had a forfeit for one of their games where they ended up winning 30-0. This was back in week 2 versus Turf Titans. So they won 30-0. And then the next week they lose 44-0, and then 44-0, and then 25-9. So the game they lost 25-9, unfortunately their offense didn't score a touchdown. They got a pick, six, and then they got a safety. So they got 9 points there. So they're off. They didn't get off. They didn't get an offensive touchdown. And then you go into week 6, they didn't score. And then week 7 they didn't score. And then week 8 they didn't score. So they literally went 8 games where they didn't get an offensive touchdown. And then week 9, this is June 20th. This is kind of a while back. They actually scored their first offensive touchdown. So I just want to give a shout to them. I'm sure they felt great scoring their first offensive touchdown. It's I'm sure it's something that's it's pretty cool. After 8 weeks, after 7 weeks of not scoring, it's kind of like, oh, we're gonna score, and then I believe they scored another one last week as well on June 2 weeks ago as well too. So that's something I kind of wanted to talk about. The fact that they're a new team coming into this league, they've it's not the easiest thing to do when you're coming to this league and you're kind of getting used to playing flag, and sometimes you have some players that haven't played in a while and you're kind of just getting used to things. So the fact that you're able to get that first offensive touch out the way, and after 7 weeks, and you're able to score, I feel like it's a big accomplishment. And I think from here you're just going to get better. So that's for women's C. I want to talk about again women's C for the playoff breakdown. It's very easily 1 versus 4, 2 versus 3. There's 2 games left. You have Cows versus She Sparks. The game's not going to matter because Turf Titans are going to get the number 1 seed because the points allowed for them. So pretty much again, these teams are kind of locked in 1 versus 4 and 2 versus 3. So I'm going to go down to women's B now. So for women's B, everything is also locked in. You have Hibu that end up being as the number 1 seed, and then you have Leah TS as the bottom seed. Nothing really crazy here. I actually got to see Supernova play Chaos, and it kind of came down to the last drive. Chaos kind of had a slow start. They were losing 0-18, and they came back. They actually took the lead. I think it was 20-18, and then Supernova scored, made it 24-20, and then Chaos just didn't score after that. So that was a pretty good game to see. I feel like we're going to see a rematch regarding those two teams, maybe in the semis, maybe in the finals. But these are two teams. I believe Supernova won about 2 years ago, and Chaos won a 1 year ago. So these are two teams that have won championships before. They know the feeling. They know what they have to do to get there. So that's going to be interesting. Hebo and Wolfpack are both going to finish 1 and 2, so they do receive the buys, and then Supernova is going to play Leatias, and Chaos is going to play Dream Killers. So we have 2 pretty good matchup games going there, and then we're going to see what's going to happen in the semifinals. And then I'm going to jump to women's A. So women's A is very interesting, and it's kind of funny to see. So you have one team that's not going to be making it. Unfortunately, I believe the Crocs are officially out of the playoffs. Right now, they're 1-7 with 2 games left against Ice Cold. But I even think regarding Ice Cold, I think they're going to beat them for points allowed. So even if they finish if they finish 3-7, and Ice School has one game left as well. If they finish 3-7, I think Ice School still beats them out on points again. So that's kind of unfortunate. What I wanted to talk about is this. So we're actually very fortunate to see our women's A team, as in our women's one, women's A, however you call it. We're very fortunate to see the amount of female athletes, amount of great female athletes we have playing in this division. So great that these girls make like national teams, right? So you have Sub Zero, that I believe I have it here. You have Sub Zero, where you have, I believe you have one, two, three, four, five. So you have five girls from Sub Zero that's going to be going to the World Games. I think it's in China. I think it's called the World Games. Yeah, I think they're going to the World Games. So they're going to be gone for about 10 days. Then you have Cayenne, which also has an amazing bunch of athletes that are also going to be gone for 10 days. I believe, yes. I think it's the 7th to the 17th that they're going to be gone. And the tournaments from the flag tournament the flag tournament starts the 14th to 17th. So these are two teams, two powerhouse teams that represent Quebec very well, represent Canada very well, and also when they go outside of the province, they represent both of their club teams very well. Both of these teams are losing one, two, three, four. I think I think Cayenne's losing six girls, and I think Sub Zero's losing five girls. These teams have to play a semifinal game versus also very good talent teams like the Matrix, Monarchs, Blue Pond, Ice Cold. They're gonna have to play a semifinal games with both teams missing about 5 to 6 girls on each of their team. So it's gonna be a big disadvantage for a team like Cayenne, where you're missing a lot of your elite players because they're representing the country, and the same thing for Sub Zero, right? They're gonna be missing one of their top players, Sarah Parker, where she's not going to be there because she's going to be representing her country. So it's gonna be interesting to see exactly how they're going to adapt. Again, they do have deep rosters, both of these teams. They do have a lot of females, and it is 5-on-5, so you kind of could try to see what you could do. But they're not playing they're not playing above average teams. You're playing Blue Pond, which is literally a university team. You're playing Matrix as well as a they have a lot of players from university that are skilled players that are pretty much maybe they're maybe one cut away from actually representing a national team as well too, right? So you're playing very high quality teams, and the fact that you're be missing a lot of your key players for this game, it's gonna be interesting to see if we're gonna see a rematch of Sub Zero versus Cayenne in the finals, or it's gonna be our Matrix, Blue Pond are gonna get the best of them for by not having their full roster, and they're able to they're going to be able to knock them out beforehand. So I think that's going to be very interesting going forward to seeing what's going to happen in that semifinal matchup regarding these teams when they end up playing versus each other. So that's what I have for co-ed. Sorry, that's what I have for women's A, and then we're going to finish with intermediate. We're gonna finish intermediate, where we have 2 games left. Still CRA versus FC Bling. Everyone's pretty much locked in. Montreal Mavericks are, unfortunately, they finished 0-10. I know for Montreal Mavericks, it's kind of like I believe it's like kind of more developing. They're developing their athletes. They want to play versus more quality players, whatever. So that's a fact that they're kind of in this league. Most of their teams are usually 15, 16 years old, and they're just kind of getting the feel of it. And they're preparing themselves to play versus younger kids, so they're able to perform a bit better. So I just want to give a shout out to them. Unfortunately, you guys did go 110, but I'm hoping you guys enjoyed your season and you guys are going to get better from here. Moving forward, we have a three-way tie between Ambush, Blue Dry, and Les Giants. Les Giants are going to take the number one seed at 183 for points allowed, so they're going to have number one. And then Blue Dry will be 2, Ambush should be 3, and then you have the bottom teams, Five Guys, still CRA and FC Bling at 6-4, 6-3, 1-8. Not really the bottom, but just the bottom of the pack going down here. For playoffs, how it's going to work. 1 and 2 do get a bye. So the Giants, Blue Dry are going to receive their bye. And then Ambush is going to play FC Bling. And then you have Five Guys versus CRA that are going to be playing versus each other. That's very interesting because you have two top seeds that are 6-4, and I believe FC still CRA should be FC Bling, their next matchup, and that's going to be August 3rd. So I believe they should win that game. Even if they don't, it's not going to change the matter of the standings. They will still end up playing five guys in the first round of the quarterfinals. So, but at the end of the day, it's kind of funny how you're going to see a 6-4 team probably play versus 6-4 team in the first round. So that's going to be a very good matchup to see who's going to end up coming up, who's going to be coming up over on top in that game. If you look at their schedule when they played versus, how they played versus each other, five guys won 32-6, and then I think they only played once. So they played once. So I'm pretty sure still CRA is going to want to get revenge against five guys. The fact that they beat them by 26 points the last time they played versus each other. So that's pretty much it for intermediate for 5v5. I'm gonna go to men's 5v5 competitive, which we have a lot going on here too as well. Um, you have Montreal Magic right now; they're 8-2, Flag Moss 7-2, Raw Dog 7-2, Brave 6-3, KGP in the middle of the pack 5-5, Party Crashers 4-5, Easy W there it's 3-6, and No Regard 2-8. Shout out for No Regard. You guys did what you guys had to do. You guys got your 2 wins. Unfortunately, you guys almost got your third win as well too. You guys played Party Crashers last Sunday. No Regard got a crazy touchdown just before. I think it was maybe like 30 or 45 seconds before the game ended, and then Party Crashers drove down the field, ended up scoring a touchdown, and ended up winning that game. So Norgard almost got 3 wins in the season. That I'm sure they would have been happy with that, but unfortunately they only got 2. But they're gonna live with it. They have playoffs coming up, so hopefully they can make some noise regarding playoffs. For a playoff breakdown, there's no buys. No one gets a buy. No one's getting out of it. It's 1 versus 8, 2 versus 7, 3 versus 6, 4 versus 5. So everyone's gonna play it that way. We are probably going to see a lot of movement regarding the seedings. Flagma, Raw Dogs, Braves are 7-2, 7-2, and 6-3. So a lot of these guys could kind of still kind of move a bit, kind of see. I believe Montreal Magic's in the first year now, but I think they could get bumped out as well. So we do have a few weeks. No, we have one more week to kind of see exactly who's going to be playing who. We can't really tell right now. The fact that you have Raw Dogs playing Braves on August 3rd, and then you have Easy W playing Sooners 45. That game doesn't matter because Sooner season is over. I think, and ECW, I think it's going to stay at the bottom of the seed. But then you have Flag Mob versus Party Crashers. That's also going to be a game that matters too. So we technically have 3 games left, 2 games that are going to kind of change the seedings, how it's going to be. So we can't really tell who's going to be playing who. But I do want to say is that uh, this year for competitive, I think it's going to be something special. Again, we probably have one of the most um, experienced athletic division playing 5v5. Just on nationals that passed a couple weeks ago, you had Montreal Magic, you had Raw Dogs, you had Braves, you had KGP and Party Crashers. You had all these teams compete in the 5v5 men's national where they finished by, I think everyone finished basically top 10, but you had a lot of these teams that finished top 3 as well, or top 4, where you have Montreal Magic, Raw Dogs, and Braves finished in the top 3 regarding those teams. So the fact that you get the top 3 Canadian teams playing at the fact that you got there's 3 top Canadian teams that end up finishing top 3 in national, and then you get them in this division as well too. It's gonna be nice to see who's gonna end up actually winning this division. So that's going to be interesting to see again. August 3rd is the last day for these rest of these games, and then when playoffs start, we're going to get into it. So me and Brent, probably next week after the games are done, he should be back from vacation, and then we're able to have a more of a breakdown to see who's going to be playing who, and also we're also going to be talking about all stars and stuff like that as well too. I didn't get to really talk about as much, but we're going to kind of see we're going to say our own opinion, the fact that who's going to win an All Star this year and who's going to get snubbed and stuff like that as well too. So we're going to be talking about that on the podcast about that next week. Regarding the end of the podcast, how I'm going to end it here too. So on Instagram, we like to ask you guys kind of questions to kind of just see a feedback and kind of maybe to go a bit forward. So some of the results came back from last week, from yesterday when we had it. So we asked to see if we should. I was kind of talking about this to Jeff as well. We have to see if we should have co-ed 5v5 in flag class. So right now we only have 6v6 for 5v5. We're kind of moving forward though, because when we first started for when we first started co-ed for 6v6, we had three females and no, so we had four males and two females. We then changed it to three males and three females to kind of make it a bit more balanced and kind of like saying you kind of have to pass the ball to everybody. Now the fact that we're kind of doing 5v5, it's going to be, I believe it's going to be three males, two females. It's going to shorten the field. It's going to change the game about the game a bit. But a lot of these teams that do play 5v5 or do play co-ed, some of them do travel and there's no 6v6s. So it's going to kind of compare a lot of these teams to kind of um, get a bit better. And also, women only play 5v5, they don't play 6v6. So it does kind of change the aspects of them playing 6v6 co-ed compared to playing 5v5 co-ed. I think it'll be a bit easier for them because the field's going to be smaller and they're going to be playing something that they are used to compared to your guys where they play 6v6 and 5v5. So it's like for them, it's like, okay, well, I play both of them compared to women that only play 5v5 most of the time. And the only reason why they're playing 6v6 is when they're playing co-ed. So I think that's going to be a big change. I think that's why the voting went from we had 233 votes and 183 said yes and 50 said no. So that's also something to kind of look about. We kind of talked about the mid-season tournament. We had 172 votes that said yes, 56 said no. So hopefully, Jeff and Ben could kind of make some things happen there. I think it'll be kind of cool to have FPF tournament. Again, I know there'll be a lot of teams that you end up playing against. You're gonna end up playing against, and that you're already playing against. But again, you're gonna also play maybe against teams that you've never played against before, and also teams that also travel from like Ottawa and stuff too. They probably will come down, so that's gonna be something new for teams to kind of get into, and also for teams that never end up playing any type of tournaments. Tournaments are pretty cool. You get to see our community is also super big, so it's gonna kind of bring everyone kind of together. And who does not like to watch football for the next like 2 to 3 days? And we have good weather. People are gonna be hanging out. It's always a vibe. So I feel like that'd be pretty cool to have a FPF tournament for next summer. Um, the last thing I'm going to talk about is a question that we kind of asked is going should you when you after scoring a touchdown should you go for one or two. So we had 300 right now the results, we had 360 people that voted, 140 going for one and 218 no, sorry 140 people voted for going for one and 218 people going for two. So kind of I believe it's like maybe like a 60-40 split here. If you ask me, I'm always going for two. The reason why I think going for two is kind of it benefits you a bit more is because if you get three 2 point converts, you literally get an extra possession. You get an extra touchdown. So every time you score a touchdown, you go for two, you get it's 8, 8, 8. 8 plus 8 plus 8 ends up being 24 compared to let's just say you go 6, 6, 6, 6. That's 24. So you get like an extra touchdown compared to going for one, where it does benefit you. It does benefit you if the other team's going for two and you're going for one, and you're getting your ones, you're not getting your twos. You end up getting a higher amount of points than them. Like let's say you get your first three converts and they missed all three, you end up getting a possession to a point. But I think going for two ends up benefiting you a bit better. So I think that's the reason why we had more votes for going for two. But then again, going for one also, it's if you're more comfortable going for one, keep going for one, and it's also easier to get compared to going for two. Not a lot of teams are able. Not a lot of teams have certain plays that going for two or feel as comfortable for going for two. But again, I just think for when you go for two, it ends up being more pressure on teams too as well, and you could get an extra touchdown if you get more than three of them. But yeah, so that's all I'm gonna say for this podcast here. Again, guys, playoffs do start in, I believe, 2 weeks. We're gonna start playoffs coming up. End of the season finishes August 3rd. Just make sure regarding playoffs, your teams have your games played. And if they don't, make sure you start email the league now if there's a correction. There's a lot of teams that are going to be emailing the league saying, "Oh, this person was here and they weren't here." So it takes sometimes it takes a few days for feedback, and sometimes you get not the feedback you wanted compared to you doing it now compared to doing it the day of the game, right? So you want to get that all settled. You want to make sure all your games are played for your for your players. Or if for some reason they're for some reason, let's just say you need to have 5 games to play to be able to play playoffs. And if you don't, you have to I believe you have to show some type of medical note. You have to show some type of medical note stating why you weren't at that game, or some type of injury, so you can have that game played. Because if you don't have that, chances are you be able to play that game. Chances are you be able to play playoffs is very slim. There's a lot of a lot of teams, a lot of players that kind of try to finesse the system or try to get into the system, and usually the league does say no if the excuse is not valid, or it's because you can't say, "Oh, I was sick," like it doesn't work like that, because the amount of people that say they're sick, and that's why they need a game played, it gets kind of insane. So just for you guys to know, make sure you guys have your games played. I'm excited for playoffs. I'm excited for playoffs pretty much in every division. I don't think any team. I don't think there's one league. I don't think there's one division where it kind of shows a clear cut winner. So I'm excited to see who's going to be FPF champion. I know a lot of players, a lot of teams are kind of still playing in this league as well to kind of get a championship. Someone like me, I think I have 6 or 7 now. But the first one means a lot. It meant a lot, and it's kind of like, okay, and then it starts to rolling. But again, you want to start somewhere. So I just want to say I want to give a good luck to all the teams out there for playoffs. Make sure you guys have your games played. Make sure you guys are doing what you're doing for that, and good luck.